Hello everybody, my name is Andrea Cicalese and you're watching Living the Classical Life Virtual Chat Edition.
Andrea, welcome to Living the Classical Life Virtual Chat. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. It is quite an honor and a half to be here, to be quite frankly. It's so awesome. I thank you for the opportunity and I'm hoping for a nice, interesting conversation.
So yes, we've had quite a number of conversations already, and I've been so fascinated by the fact that you've had so many ideas about what it means to be having a classical music life, if we want to call it that, and what it means to reach so many different audience age groups. So before we get into that, I want to ask you how you got into music at all, how you chose violin, and if you come from a musical family.
Well, my family is, let's say, kind of musical. Nobody is a professional musician here, but my father has played the piano on, classical music, pretty high standards for about 8-9 years, and still today plays a lot, mostly jazz, and now is starting to coming back to classical music a little bit more again. And well, how I started violin, that's actually very interesting because I've been born in Naples, and I've always wanted to start a musical instrument because I saw, since I was 2-3 years old, my father and we watched together a number of symphonies. I think he was an abonnement in the digital concert hall of the Berlin Philharmonic. So we were watching basically every week a nice concert together. And well, then I wanted to start an instrument, but there was this thing that we would move to Munich, and so my parents never knew when to let me start because it would be sad if you start and then you have to move and it's all a chaos. So essentially, when I was 7, I moved here, and well, I wanted to start an instrument. I didn't know which one, but we did have Italian friends here in Munich, one family, and this kid. His name was Albert, he played the cello, and I really loved it. I loved it more than the piano. I know you're a pianist, but
No offense taken.
No, but I love the fact that with the bow you could create your own sound, do crescendo, diminuendo, your own sound quality, and with the piano I just saw somebody, like as a kid of course, like clicking the button and then a sound would come out, but here I could actually create my sound. And now there was a cello. I was a 7-year-old kid, and sometimes I was afraid a little bit of this dark tone of the cello, and so my father and my mother were like, so there is something that is the same, you just hold it like this and it's higher and I like higher tones, and so that's essentially how I started playing the violin, and I am enjoying it so much. I learn every day something new, and this is why I love the instrument.
What I see is like, he's very creative, he's always doing something new. Even when he's not practicing, he's always doing something. He's always got a lot of energy and he's always enthusiastic. I mean, I would just sit at home all day and the time he's doing like 100 things. And he's like, yo, I have a new idea, you need to help me on this. I'm like, really? I just got up and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Not in the morning, in the afternoon. But yeah. I just got up and he's just like, yo, I just practiced 3 hours this morning. I have this film idea, let's do it today. And I'm like, I just got up. Let me get dressed first and then we'll talk about it.
So speaking of being serious, how serious do you really think that we have to be? So this is classical music.
Yes.
And at your age, what's your perception of the world of classical music, its audience, and how we can reach the younger people?
Well, the world of classical music has always had this a gross misunderstanding that it's all of these elite thinking people that they are very elegant and they go to the concert and they look over you, but well, from my experience at least, that's never been the case. Actually, quite the opposite. To be honest, people are very humble because I think the serious people, the people that want to learn, they have to think exactly the opposite. They have to take from everybody the best out of them and kind of steal what they can and then make something out of it and change it up a bit. And I think that's how music evolves as well. Because if I learn something from my teacher that is, very interesting, I keep it for myself, and when I will teach it one day, I will add a little bit of my a little bit more of spicy pepper to it that I think is good, and then it will evolve, and in 50 years you will play it differently, and that's a little bit how the trend goes as well, right? So how serious do we have to be when children learn how to walk and how to play with toys? They're serious about it because they learn it. Imagine how much a child learns in 7 years, from nothing, being able to do nothing, to being 7, going to school. Are they serious? Well, that depends on how you define it. They learn so much, but are they serious? And that's how I approach violin. I'm having fun, but of course I want to learn.
What unique characteristics do you see in him as a person as compared to him as a musician?
A very interesting characteristic is his curiosity, his playfulness. He has this childlike wonder when he plays, and also outside of playing, he has extreme enthusiasm for some things that is sometimes very unexpected, or I don't understand myself how someone can be so enthusiastic about a specific thing. When, for example, a sunset, he's like, whoa, and I'm like, it's a sunset, I see it every couple of days. And once we were in France for 10 days, me and Andrea, and we did a chamber music project. So we were playing a duo, which went pretty well, by the way. And while playing with him, I realized he has this amazing vision of what he wants, and he has this enthusiasm and this curiosity to try a bunch of things out. So he gave so many ideas which the professors didn't even give us, and we tried a bunch of things out right before the concert, and his enthusiasm was so contagious that I was also caught off guard, and it made the concert so much better.
So let's go right into the ways that you are reaching your audience. I'm particularly fascinated by your channel, Polyphonix. So tell me, what is Polyphonix? How did you start it? And what is its aim?
Polyphonix is a very interesting channel because, quite frankly, I don't know yet what it is, but I'm looking at what direction it's going. So, first of all, I had this necessity during the Corona lockdown to still perform in some way, because I used to perform quite a bit, and so I wanted still to perform. And so, what better way to do it than in the online world? Luckily, I'm able to edit videos since I'm, a little child, because I was doing funny cinematic projects with my friends. So the channel itself started with these reviews. I started with a review called None But a Lonely Heart, that's the CD by Daniel Lozakovich, and I just got admitted into Professor Rissin's class, which is the same. And so I was very excited about that, and so I was like, oh, I love this CD. What can I do to help it as well? Although it didn't need any help, I still wanted to perform something, and I thought, well, what if I find a way to liken pop music in this video format, show to the young generation classical music? What if I find a format that is both interesting for the more advanced musicians like you said you were, fascinated by the project, but also the beginners, because the beginners, they don't know anything, and how can they approach classical music nowadays? Well, everybody is on YouTube, right? So I thought, let's show the CD on YouTube in a simple form, in a simple format, in a simple way, and let's see how the reaction is. And so I tried to divide it in these segments: unboxing, meet the artist, my opinion, and so on. And it turned out to be liked by the public, and so I kind of continued in this direction. That's one of those moments where you have your cup of tea, you're listening to a recording session, and you adjust the volume so everything just sounds about right, and then you're relaxing, listening to this second movement, beautiful, and then suddenly and you know, what in the hell is happening?
Andrea, I noticed in your musical life and also on your channel, there's a particular focus on the music making of Daniel Lozakovich. What's this about, and what's your relationship to him?
Well, first of all, I've had the pleasure to get to know Daniel, which is why I'm very drawn to his playing. And of course, I've known him because I was already drawn to his playing before, that's clear. But so I have two reviews, I believe, about Daniel. The one is None But a Lonely Heart album, and the second one is, his Beethoven Violin Concerto, which is where I actually met him. So I have this extremely good feeling when I hear Daniel play, because his technique is absolutely brilliant, and his crystalline sound, his crystalline intonation, they give me this purity, especially also in his Bach album, for example, that he recorded when he was really young. It gives me this purity feeling, and when I was there in Munich and listening also to his phrasing, to his musicality, it was the whole complex of things. It was so beautiful that I gave him this letter the day after, because I went to his second concert as well, and said, look, in this letter that I have here, this is how I play. Listen to it. I would like to play like you, and what is the best way to play like someone? Work with the same teacher. And so he was like, all right, so I'm gonna do that. And I was like, so you promise you're gonna do that? You're gonna
you made him promise?
Absolutely.
Don't you think that's a little forward?
No, I don't think so, because what do I have to lose? Nothing. Because what can go wrong? That he says, I didn't look at it. All right, so thank you for your time. But he did, and that's the best decision that I've ever made in my life, because that has influenced my playing in a way that nothing else could have, because now I work with, in my opinion, really one of the kindest and best teachers, Russian old school teachers there is, who work with Albrecht Bräuninger, Sergei Kachatyan, Daniel, many more, and now I also I'm keeping in contact with Daniel, so I made a friend as well, right? So that was all positive what happened.
At this stage of life, is it possible to have this focus on violin and still have fun and still have a normal teenage life?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've done a lot of fun things together. We've done some stupid things as well.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, for example, one time there was a Vengerov concert here in Munich, and we went together and watched it. It was a very nice concert. The three of us. Yes, and afterwards, Andrea was like, "Hey, come," and he showed us like where you get into the backstage area, and then he was like, "Okay, yo, so I know the name of the manager of this whole place," and I was like, "Okay," so like, look what I'm gonna do, and he goes up to the security guard, and he's like, "Hey, so the manager says we can go through to the backstage," and then he said the name, and I was like, "Oh, really?" And then. And then we got.
And this probably wasn't the case, right? This hadn't been cleared ahead of time.
I didn't know the manager at all.
No, he had no idea.
I read the name on the wall, and then I was like, oh, so that's the guy. And I realized he was the stage manager, so he was their boss, like of the people who worked there. And so I was like, but he allowed, so.
Yeah. And then we got into Vengerov.
And we got into Vengerov's private guest list. Can you imagine?
I perceive you to be an extremely confident person, and I'm curious to know how that translates to the stage. Were you always confident? Were you always able to express yourself so verbally as you are today?
I think were you always able is always a difficult question, because you always learn you learn of all of these things, you learn them. So at quite early age, being also from Neapolitan origins, I always had a little bit, my parents told me I had the gift to speak to people always. I loved to communicate a lot. That has always been absolutely the case. But I'm always only confident about things that I can actually do. If you ask me about basketball, I'm not gonna be confident when I speak to you, because I don't know anything about it. But then what happens? And that's my second strength, being curious, being like a kid. Kids are the most philosophical human beings ever. They're curious, they always ask, and they're always critical about, like, is that really like that, and why? And again, why, and so on. And then at some point you get confident. Even Socrates was confident that he didn't know anything, but he was confident about that, right? And so at some point, you are confident.
But where did this curiosity come from? Do you know? Did it come from your parents and you were similar, or did this just develop at a specific time in your life?
I think that since I'm a little child, I'm never happy with the answer that is given to me. And I want to know more about something. And it has been in my nature, in my blood since I'm born. So I think that's why. I remember there is a really funny story. You just made me remember, that's good. So basically, I was sitting with my father at around 4 to 5 years old. We were listening to Beethoven, 5th Symphony, I remember. And so I asked him, so who is Beethoven? And where does he live? And so on. And I was a little child. My father said, so he is dead. And I didn't know really about death, right? I didn't think about it. And he said he is dead. But so I'm gonna die too? I asked. And he said, yeah, but you're gonna die when you're 100 years old. You know, to exaggerate for a child. He said, when you're 100 years old. And so that was my answer. I was like, okay, so you die when you're 100 years old. Because I kept asking. And then, I went, we were having a trip in the mountains, and we were next to this village where the oldest woman in the village was celebrating her birthday. She was 100 years old, and she was about to blow the candles, and so and so everybody is quiet. She's about to do her wish, and me and my family, we were watching it. It's a beautiful moment for the village, and then suddenly this little kid, me, asked, "So is she gonna die before or after?" she and since then I have never been really happy with any answer that has been given to me, and that's why I continue asking, I guess.
Sorry, that's a great story. That's a great story.
I know.
I have to take away the water. Hang on, I'll be right back. So Andrea, that was a really fun thing to do, to bring in your friends and to get these really humorous insights into your character, which in some ways were already obvious, but to get the insights of your friends was really wonderful. I wanted to point out to the viewers that was actually your idea, and one unique thing here, speaking of getting your way, is that this episode is basically directed and edited by you, which I think when we discussed it was a really fun idea, just to show that the younger generation is really good with these things, and you have a specific vision as to how you want to present things. So I'm really grateful that you're here, first of all.
I'm grateful that I'm here also. I think the one who has to be grateful here is me. Thank you for this amazing chance that you gave me. I'm more than happy to edit this video. I hope it turned out good. The viewers let me know. But well, thank you so much, and thank you for your help also, Antonio and Paolo. It has been a pleasure to talk with you, to do all of this, and I hope to be going to Cleveland very soon to film a live episode. That would be awesome as well.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, let's be in touch, and I'll be curious to follow your development and to see where your many ideas and talents take you. So thank you once again, and until soon.
Until soon, dear Scholt, and until soon, dear everybody else. Bye-bye.
Bye.